It's an honor to talk to you and sit across from you. Big fan of your work.
Thank you very much.
And, of course, Steve Jobs, no exception to that. Congratulations on the film. But you know what? People are talking about, oh, here we go, another Steve Jobs movie. I want to talk about what makes this one different than maybe some of the others.
Well, it would be hard for me to talk about that because I haven't seen the others. I'm not allowed to. But I can maybe talk about why this is different from what I think people are expecting. This isn't an origin movie or an invention movie. It's not a biopic either. Before I knew what I wanted to do, I knew what I didn't want to do, and that was a traditional cradle-to-grave structure with the character's greatest hits along the way. He invented this, he invented this, he invented this, then he got in trouble, and then he redeemed himself, and then he went to the doctor, and then he died. I didn't want to do that. I thought that there was a better way in, a more theatrical way in, and a way in that would perhaps illuminate more of Steve Jobs than we're used to being exposed to. And that way is doing the movie the movie is only 3 scenes. Each of those scenes are in real time. Real time means that a half hour for you is the same as a half hour for the characters on the screen. And each of those scenes takes place in the minutes leading up to one of his product launches. Many of the conflicts in his life with Steve Wozniak, with his boss John Sculley, with his eldest daughter Lisa, and so on, are played out sort of under the pressure of these scenes as thousands of people are coming into the theater, to see the latest Steve Jobs creation.
What do you think intrigues us the most about Steve Jobs? Why do we tell his story?
It's a good question. I think, first of all, he's in our lives, right? If you're holding an iPhone, if you're working on a Mac, if you have an iPad, he's in your life. If you don't have these things, you probably have a friend who is telling you, why don't you have these things? And you're probably in some sort of Apple-Samsung battle or something like that. This movie is not going to settle any of those arguments. It's not going to make an argument that this product is better than that product. But the other reason I think we're interested is that we hear 2 things that are in black and white. He's a genius, he's a tyrant. This movie kind of tries to build a bridge between those things and dramatize why.
Is there pressure writing about iconic, true people? You're really good at it, but I want to know about the pressure.
Well, yeah, because Steve Jobs is important to many people who've never met him, the way the Beatles are important to you and me. Or at least to me. I don't know if you're a Beatles fan.
I am. I rocked the wrong way on Abbey Road the other day. Here in London, people like Dave, the Beatles went the other way. I'm like, this is my album cover. I'm sorry, I'm taking away.
No, but I really like that idea, and while I'm here in London, I may go do that. So people have strong feelings about him already, and also, you mentioned that this isn't the first time that someone's written about Steve Jobs. So, there's a feeling of why is there another movie about Steve Jobs? Haven't we seen this? The answer is no, you haven't seen this. No matter what you've seen about Steve Jobs, I promise you haven't, good or bad, you haven't seen this.
Did you watch old footage of Steve?
Sure.
While you were getting ready for this?
Sure. I watched... there's plenty online. All of his product launches, his keynote addresses, his Stanford commencement speech, which coincidentally I helped him write, even though I've never met him. He called me on the phone and asked if I would help out with writing that speech. Interviews that are online, the Lost interview that's online. I don't think that there's a piece of Steve Jobs left behind that I haven't somehow tried to absorb.